Oftentimes you hear folks that say that you can't outwork a bad diet. I'm here to tell you guys that's a half truth. In all actuality, depending on what your goal is, whether you're trying to build muscle, burn fat, um, anything along those lines, you actually can eat a quote unquote bad diet, but we're going to get into that, what that means. So people oftentimes associate a bad diet as unhealthy food or junk food. And I think that's why people get confused, because when you're trying to burn body fat, you need to put your body in a state where you are in a caloric deficit. Now, you can do that in one of two ways or both. I'm going to explain. You can consume less calories, which is possible, but the issue you're going to run into is you're going to start eating too little calories. You're going to start restricting too much, to the point where you're going to start eating into your muscle tissue. And then when that muscle tissue begins to get eaten into, you'll start to run the risk of slowing that metabolism down, because the muscle is responsible for that. The second option is you can do what I always promote. And by the way, I do have a Lion Strong training fusion system for this. I recommend more training, more physical activity, in the sense that you're doing a structured training where you're focusing on resistance training, burning, which allows you to burn calories at rest. I'm a big proponent of doing multiple workout sessions a day, which doesn't have to be a very long time. It can be under 30 minutes, but just more activity so you can stimulate the body and re-engineer it to burn lots of calories. Or you can restrict the calories while implementing more training sessions, okay? But even though I do believe more training is more sustainable, nonetheless, that there are plenty of people that I personally coached who've eaten Oreos, who've had milkshakes, who had hamburgers every day. But here's the difference. They're aware of their calorie needs. They are aware of how many calories they got to be consuming on a regular basis in order to reach their goal. They're also getting their protein in. Okay, so there's a lot of nuance. I'm not promoting the idea of eating like crap. All I'm simply saying is that if you break it down, if you understand the roadmap, like we always talk about, you're supposed to go on, knowing how many calories, knowing how many grams of protein, knowing how to put your body in that caloric deficit, despite the diet not being the cleanest, if you're training the way you're supposed to, with everything involved, you can still accomplish your goal, guys. And I'm just speaking firsthand because I've trained and worked with lots of people who've done this. That's why it's important to understand those nuances and not just go off with the general sentiment that is vague. But anyway, guys, I suggest that you get on a good program that's going to allow you to stimulate your body. And those are right here, my Lion Strong Fusion training systems. Give it a look and start training your body today.